I need to tell you something that might change how you think about inflammation forever. My name is Dr. Vonda Wright, and for years I have watched people struggle with weight that will not budge, joints that ache every morning, and energy that disappears by afternoon. They come to me frustrated because they have tried everything. They drink green smoothies, they take supplements, they exercise when their body allows it, and still nothing shifts. The inflammation stays, the discomfort lingers, the scale does not move. Here is what I have learned. Most people are doing one thing right, but they are missing the second half of the equation. They add chia seeds to their water every morning. They stir them into yogurt. They sprinkle them on salads. They have read about the fiber, the omega-3s, and antioxidants. They expect results. But weeks pass, and the belly stays swollen. The joints still hurt. The inflammation markers on their blood work do not improve. So they start to wonder if chia seeds are just another health trend that sounds good, but delivers nothing. Let me be clear. Chia seeds are not the problem. The problem is that chia seeds alone cannot flip the switch inside your body. They cannot activate the anti-inflammatory cascade that you need. Think of it this way. Imagine you have a car sitting in your driveway. The tank is full of gas. The engine is perfect. Everything you need is right there. But if you do not have the key to turn the ignition, that car is not going anywhere. That is exactly what happens when you eat chia seeds without the missing partner. Everything is present, but nothing turns on. Now, I want you to understand why this matters so much. Chronic inflammation is not just an annoyance. It is not just about sore knees or a puffy stomach. Inflammation is the driving force behind weight gain that feels impossible to lose. It slows your metabolism down to a crawl. It creates insulin resistance, which means your body struggles to use the food you eat for energy. It throws your hormones out of balance. It speeds up aging at the cellular level. When inflammation is running wild inside you, your body is constantly in defense mode. It holds onto fat because it thinks you are under attack. It slows energy production because survival becomes the priority, not vitality. But here is the promise I want you to hold on to. When inflammation is finally brought under control, everything gets easier. Your metabolism starts working with you instead of against you. Hunger hormones normalize, so you are not constantly craving sugar and carbs. Brain fog lifts, recovery improves. Your body stops fighting you and starts supporting you. So the question becomes, what is actually happening inside your body when you eat chia seeds? And why do they fall short without the right pairing? Let me explain this with a simple image. Think of your body like a relay race. Chia seeds are the first runner, and they are fast. They hand off the baton with everything they have. But if the second runner is not standing there ready to take that baton and keep moving, the race stops. The first runner did their job perfectly, but without the second runner, nothing continues. That is what happens inside you. The issue is not what chia seeds contain. The issue is how your body converts plant omega-3s, how your liver processes inflammatory molecules, and how your intestinal lining responds to the nutrients you give it. What I am about to share with you is based on 6 key physiological principles that explain why most people use chia seeds incorrectly and what the research actually says about food pairing for anti-inflammatory effects. This is not guesswork. This is science applied in a way that transforms chia seeds from a passive superfood into an active tool that lowers inflammation, calms your metabolism, and supports healthy aging. So let us start with what chia seeds actually contain. They are packed with fiber, they have antioxidants, and they contain something called alpha-linolenic acid, which is a plant-based omega-3. Now, here is the challenge. Alpha-linolenic acid is only raw material. It is not the finished product. Your body has to convert it into the active forms that actually calm inflammation and support cellular repair. Imagine walking into a workshop filled with raw materials. There is wood stacked in the corner, metal on the shelves, tools hanging on the wall, but there is no craftsman in sight. Alpha-linolenic acid is the raw wood. The enzyme system in your body is the craftsman that transforms that raw material into something useful. But here is the problem. These enzymes do not operate efficiently on their own. They need a partner nutrient to activate them. Without that partner, the conversion rate is incredibly low. The omega-3s pass through your system without triggering the deep cellular changes you are hoping for. And here is what makes it worse. The enzyme system responsible for omega-3 conversion is easily overwhelmed by modern metabolic stress. Elevated inflammation from poor sleep, insulin fluctuations from unbalanced meals, oxidative load from environmental exposure. All of these things slow down the enzymes dramatically. So even if you are eating chia seeds every single day, your body might not be converting those nutrients into anything useful. Now let us talk about your liver, because this is where things get really interesting. Your liver determines whether chia seeds actually shift your inflammatory state. Think of your liver like an airport control tower. When traffic is light, every plane gets directed smoothly. Routes are optimized, everything flows. But when the airport is overcrowded, the priority shifts from smooth operation to just avoiding disaster. Tasks that would enhance repair and reduce inflammation get placed on hold because the system is too overwhelmed to handle them. When your liver is under pressure, whether from excess metabolic byproducts or persistent stress hormones, it prioritizes protective tasks instead of anti-inflammatory processing. So people add chia seeds expecting less inflammation, more energy, and metabolic stability, but the internal systems needed to activate those nutrients are not ready. They are stuck in survival mode. And that brings us to the gut lining, which is another piece of this puzzle. When inflammation is high, your gut lining becomes overly sensitive. It still responds to the fiber and hydration from chia seeds, but the deeper anti-inflammatory signal is missing. The fermentation of chia seed compounds requires additional internal support to generate the signals that tell your immune system to calm down. Without that partner, the calming signal never fully switches on. So here is the core insight I need you to understand. Chia seeds are not ineffective, they are incomplete. They are one half of a biological partnership. And when your metabolism is already strained, your body cannot complete the second half on its own. Real change happens only when the missing catalyst is present. That catalyst activates the enzyme system, supports the liver, and amplifies the gut-mediated anti-inflammatory response. So what is the missing partner? It is ground flaxseed, not flax oil, not whole flax seeds. Freshly ground flaxseed. Here is what happens when you combine them. Ground flaxseed activates the metabolic machinery required to convert the plant-based omega-3s from chia seeds into the active anti-inflammatory forms your body needs. Chia provides alpha-linolenic acid. Flax also provides alpha-linolenic acid, but it brings something extra. It brings concentrated lignans. Lignans are plant compounds that stimulate the enzyme pathways responsible for converting alpha-linolenic acid into highly active anti-inflammatory molecules. Think of it like a construction site. Chia seeds bring the raw lumber to the site. Ground flaxseed brings the skilled carpenter. Without the carpenter, the lumber just sits there. Nothing gets built. Without the material, the carpenter has nothing to work with. But when you bring both together, construction begins immediately. You start creating active omega-3 molecules that your immune system uses to dial down inflammation. Research shows that combining two different plant-based omega-3 sources increases the alpha-linolenic acid conversion rate by activating enzymes in both the liver and the intestinal lining. What those enzymes need is raw material from chia and the lignin activation signal from flax. Both components together trigger the transformation that neither can achieve alone. Now let us talk about fiber, because chia and flax have different fiber profiles, and that difference matters. Chia fiber swells and forms a gel when it absorbs water. That gel slows glucose absorption and hydrates your intestinal lining. Flax fiber provides soluble fibers that act as fuel for beneficial gut microbes. When those microbes metabolize flax lignans, they produce metabolites that lower inflammatory signaling throughout your entire body. So you get a two-stage response. The chia gel plus the flax lignin fermentation creates a gut-mediated anti-inflammatory response that neither food can generate alone. And here's what happens in your liver. Flaxseed increases the activity of specific detoxification pathways that control oxidative stress. Remember that airport control tower? When those pathways are supported, the liver redirects energy toward converting omega-3s and managing inflammatory molecules instead of just reacting to metabolic overload. The traffic eases. The control tower can optimize routes instead of preventing collisions. This is the shift people feel. Energy improves. Bloating diminishes. Joint stiffness eases. The body feels calmer from the inside out because nutrients are finally being used the way nature intended through an activated, fully supported enzymatic chain. When both seeds enter your digestive system together, they work in a synchronized pattern that affects inflammation across your gut, your liver, and your metabolic tissues. Chia forms that gel when it absorbs water, slowing digestion and stabilizing blood glucose. It creates a controlled environment where nutrients move steadily, giving your enzyme systems more time to process them. Why does this matter? Because rush digestion leads to spikes in inflammatory signaling. The gel acts as a quiet buffer between your gut and your bloodstream. Flax works differently. It does not form a gel. Instead, its soluble fibers break down into prebiotic compounds that feed specific microbes. Those microbes produce short-chain fatty acids that calm your immune system, strengthen your gut lining, and directly reduce inflammatory cytokines. The pairing effect is powerful. The chia gel slows the release of flax compounds, giving your microbes sustained access to their fuel. It is a coordinated system that reduces inflammatory signaling more effectively than either seed alone. Let me show you this visually. Imagine a wide horizontal line representing the chia gel layer forming a protective boundary in your gut. Beneath that line, picture small circles representing flax fibers beginning fermentation. Now picture arrows rising upward, representing anti-inflammatory metabolites passing into your circulation. When the gel and the fermentation combine, those arrows lengthen. The signal becomes stronger. The anti-inflammatory effect becomes deeper and more sustained. In your liver, the omega-3 conversion enzymes respond strongly to the lignans from ground flax seed. Chia provides the raw omega-3 precursors. When both arrive together, your liver receives the building blocks and the activation compounds simultaneously. This allows your liver to create powerful molecules that calm inflammation throughout your body. Without flax, the conversion is minimal. Without chia, there is nothing to convert. Together, your liver gains the inputs it needs to reduce inflammatory load efficiently. There is also a hormone regulation layer here that people often miss. Inflammation drives hormonal imbalance. It results from elevated cortisol, impaired insulin sensitivity, and disrupted satiety signaling. The chia-flax combination helps by stabilizing blood glucose, supporting gut hormone release, and reducing the inflammatory burden that drives hormonal imbalance in the first place. As your hormones normalize, your body shifts from protective fat storing mode to a balanced state where energy, metabolism, and recovery improve. So here's the simple conclusion. Chia seeds are not meant to work alone. They are the first half of a metabolic equation. Ground flaxseed completes that equation. It is the catalyst that helps your body convert nutrients into the molecules that calm inflammation. When people combine them, the shift is not subtle. It is the body finally receiving the support it needs to lower inflammatory signals, restore metabolic rhythm, and move toward long-term health and vitality. But let us go beyond single pathways because your body does not rely on one pathway to control inflammation. It uses networks, loops, and interconnected systems. When one pathway improves, others begin improving as well. That is why the chia-flax combination feels more complete. It influences several networks at once. Inflammation is not only an immune system problem, it is a cellular communication problem. When cells become stressed, whether from poor sleep, unstable glucose, or oxidative load, they send out distress signals. Those signals spread through your bloodstream like alarm messages. If the alarm continues, your body slows metabolism, increases fat storage, tightens blood vessels, heightens cortisol, and makes tissue repair harder. Chia and flax work together to interrupt this alarm cycle. Picture your body as a neighborhood where every house represents a cell. When one house catches fire, the alarm sounds. If the fire spreads, more alarms trigger. Soon the entire neighborhood feels unstable. Chia gel cools the initial irritation in your gut. Flax lignans affect the deeper inflammatory messengers. Together, they restore calm throughout the entire neighborhood. Research shows that the metabolites produced when flax lignans break down act directly on receptors inside your immune cells. These receptors regulate how strongly your immune system reacts. When they are calmed, the inflammation signal becomes measured instead of exaggerated. Active omega-3 molecules from the chia-flax combination also enter cell membranes, influencing flexibility, Flexible membranes improve cell communication. Better communication means fewer unnecessary inflammatory alarms. Your nervous system is deeply involved in inflammatory control, and this is often overlooked. When your gut is irritated, the nerves in your digestive tract send stress signals to your brain. That triggers a sympathetic response, which raises cortisol, which amplifies inflammatory hormones. The Chia Flax combination creates a calmer gut environment, reducing the frequency of stress signals. When your gut feels safe, your nervous system withdraws from its high alert posture and inflammation naturally drops. When your liver receives consistent stress signals from your gut or circulating inflammatory molecules, it shifts toward defensive operations. It prioritizes survival over optimization. The steady, balanced influence of chia and flax allows your liver to return to an efficient state where it can process nutrients, manage hormones, and reduce oxidative load effectively. When your liver relaxes, the rest of your body follows. This is why the combination feels so powerful. It influences cellular communication, gut-mediated regulation, liver function, and immune balance. You are not just adding nutrients. You are introducing a coordinated system that supports multiple body systems simultaneously. Your body is built to respond to nutrient combinations, not isolated ingredients. When you get the pairing right, your internal inflammation reducing systems finally work as intended. Let me explain the difference between repair mode and defense mode. Inflammation is often driven by a mismatch between what your body is trying to repair and the resources available to support that repair. When your body senses the materials are incomplete, it stays in a defensive state. The Chia-Flax combination provides completeness. It allows your body to leave defense mode and enter repair mode. Every day, your cells experience microscopic injuries from oxidative stress, internal metabolic reactions, and normal wear. Under ideal conditions, your cells repair these micro-injuries quickly and quietly. But when inflammation is present, the repair process slows. Your body gets stuck in a cycle where damage is detected, your immune system activates, but the nutrients required for full repair are partial or missing. Chia provides valuable fats and antioxidants, but without the lignans and enzyme activators from flax, the repair cycle remains incomplete and the inflammation signal continues. Think of a road crew trying to repair potholes on a busy street. They have asphalt, but they do not have binding material. They can fill the holes temporarily, but the repair does not hold. Rain, pressure, and traffic break the patch apart, and the pothole returns. Inside your cells, that is what happens with Chia alone. The raw material is available, but the binding agents are too weak. With flaxseed, you provide the binding ingredients. The repair becomes stable. The pothole does not return. The cell does not send another inflammatory alarm. There is also an important interaction with insulin that many people miss. Chronic inflammation reduces insulin sensitivity, which means your body requires more insulin to move glucose into cells. High insulin drives fat storage, slows fat burning, and increases cortisol. Chia stabilizes glucose release. Flax influences how your cells respond to insulin. The lignans interact with receptors that support improved insulin sensitivity. Together, they reduce both the cause of glucose swings and the cellular resistance to insulin. As both mechanisms shift, metabolic balance improves and the inflammatory burden drops. Your gut microbes are constantly communicating with your immune system. When microbes are well fed and diverse, they produce metabolites that reduce inflammation and support metabolic flexibility. When they are underfed or imbalanced, they produce compounds that increase inflammatory signaling. Chia provides hydration and gel formation that soothes your gut lining. Flax provides fermentable fibers that feed beneficial microbes. The partnership nourishes your microbiome in two different ways at once. The result is a stronger gut barrier, fewer inflammatory signals entering in your bloodstream, and a calmer immune response. It is like restoring both the soil and the plant simultaneously. Chia improves the environment. Flax feeds the organisms living in that environment. When both are supported, the entire ecosystem becomes healthier and inflammation naturally decreases. Inflammation also interferes with mitochondrial function. When your mitochondria slow down, energy drops, fatigue increases, and metabolic flexibility fades. The active omega-3 molecules created from the Chia-Flax combination help stabilize mitochondrial membranes and reduce oxidative stress. This improves energy production efficiency and lowers the need for inflammatory compensation. As energy rises, your body no longer needs to stay in defensive mode. Your body does not heal from a single angle. It heals through coordinated support. Chia brings one half of that support. Ground flax brings the other half. Together, they create a biological environment where inflammation does not dominate, metabolism functions smoothly, and your body can return to its natural rhythm of repair and renewal. Imagine your body as a symphony. When all instruments are in tune, they create beautiful music. If one instrument falls out of tune, the rest compensate, creating disharmony. Inflammation is that disharmony beginning in one section, then spreading through the entire orchestra. The Chia-Flax combination works like a skilled conductor, bringing each section back into tune. Chia calms the gut. Flax activates liver enzymes. Chia stabilizes glucose. Flax supports hormone receptors. Together, they bring the entire metabolic orchestra back into harmony. The lignins from flax interact with receptors that control how strongly your immune cells react to stress. The active omega-3 molecules enter cell membranes, influencing how your cells respond to inflammatory triggers. Your body is not just reacting less, it is becoming more resilient, responding with balance rather than urgency. This shift toward resilience lowers long-term inflammatory load more effectively than any single food alone. When inflammation is high, cortisol rises to control it, but high cortisol increases cravings, slows fat burning, and disrupts sleep. The Chia-Flax combination supports your gut and liver in ways that reduce the need for elevated cortisol. As cortisol normalizes, metabolic processes become more efficient. Your body no longer stores fat protectively. Energy production increases. Recovery improves. This has a measurable impact on how you feel day to day. Inflammation also stiffens blood vessels, reduces circulation, and limits nutrient delivery to tissues. The active omega-3 molecules produced from chia and flax improve endothelial function, helping your blood vessels relax and transport nutrients effectively. Better circulation means healing compounds reach tissues faster, metabolic waste clears more efficiently, and your body remains in a lower stress state. Inflammation accelerates aging by damaging mitochondria, shortening telomeres, and increasing oxidative stress. The antioxidants from chia reduce oxidative burden. The lignins from flax reduce oxidative burden. The converted omega-3 molecules protect the cellular structures that control aging. This does not mean instant transformation, but it does mean long-term support for the systems that determine how quickly or slowly your body wears down. So I invite you to try choosing even one shift in how you support your biology today. Notice how your body responds over time. Inflammation does not fall in a single moment. It falls as your cells receive consistent support and your internal systems move back toward alignment. If this conversation helped you understand your body on a deeper level, I encourage you to join others who are learning to optimize health through thoughtful, science-based choices delivered with clarity and calm. Your body is waiting for the right support. Now you know how to give it.